And the rules of hospitality in Mongolia are that people will take you in wherever you pitch up. We're sitting in the felt tent of these people who've never had European visitors. They were living a traditional way of life that has scarcely changed in generations. The family relied on herding, but even here their son had spent time in the mines. His mum and dad told me they worried for his safety. Both his parents want him to stay here herding animals and not go back to ninja mining. They've heard that they work with mercury in the mines and they don't want their son to be poisoned. They wanted to set him up with his own livestock so that he could become independent and get married. Ninja mining is seen as a new activity that is destroying tradition. We'd heard that Buddhist monks had set up a temple in a camp a day's drive away. We learned that Mongolians believe mining violates religious laws and threatens misfortune. How do you feel spiritually about mining? She says that she's a very religious person and she always prays before she goes mining to ask forgiveness of the spirits before she damages the earth. She was a widow and also a university graduate, but she lost her job working for the state after communism collapsed. She says that she had to take her kids out of school a year ago because the government stipend that she gets to support her offspring and send them to school is not enough. The senior monk Batbold understood that despite their spiritual fears, the family had no choice but to continue mining. As a Buddhist Lama, what do you believe the consequences of mining for gold are? He explained why mining was so bad. He says that since ancient times the Mongolians avoided gold mining because the earth was sacred, that Mongolia has had a catastrophic break with tradition that is having huge environmental and spiritual consequences. Batbold explained the ninja's dilemma. He recognizes that it is poverty and a lack of jobs in modern Mongolia that drive people into gold mining. But he says that even though they can survive on gold mining, the money that they earn from it is spiritually tainted. The monks took us to the nearest town, where we visited the rundown hospital. This 27-year-old man was injured 5 months ago. He's paralyzed below the waist and he's got terrible bed sores. How did you have your accident? He gambled his life because he was so poor. He says he was injured when a mine shaft collapsed on him. He was mining at night at the time. He says because the shaft was so rich in gold that people were trying to crowd down the hole. What did you do before you went into mining? He used to be a herder. He lived with his mother and younger brother, and they lost all of their livestock, and that's why he was driven into ninja mining. And now he's in a very, very bad way, and he doesn't have a future as a working man. Here, they rely on acupuncture for pain control. The doctor says that they can keep them stable, these patients, but they can't operate on them. The doctor said miners were frequently killed or injured. We wanted to investigate what sort of risks they were taking. Right, well, we've come into the middle of absolutely nowhere. Finding ninja miners out in the desert is a game of chance. But we've come across a very small group of them. Has anyone been hurt in mine collapses around here recently? About a month ago, a mine shaft just like this collapsed. One person was killed and 3 were injured. One man in your team can make about how much money per day? The rock here is so rich in gold ore that on a good day a man can earn £25. When you consider that the annual per capita income is about £500, that's a pretty good wage, but on a bad day they'll earn nothing. Right, there's a lot of dust. All of these diggers are teenagers. They should probably be at school, but instead they're digging down in this cold earth. There are rock falls all the time. To our side there are huge boulders about to come down, just held up by tree trunks. And further down here there's a very narrow passage where these teenage boys are digging. And they're going for a seam of gold about 10 meters down the tunnel in this freezing rock. This has to be a crazy way to make money. But in Mongolian terms, the profits are so high that the dangers make it worthwhile. As you sift through these rocks, every now and again you pick out a little glinting star of gold. But these rocks also contain copper and sometimes silver. One day, Mongolia could be rich, and it depends on how well the industry is managed by the government and what impact it has on the environment. The rocks are taken away for crushing. The miners told me they used highly toxic mercury to extract the gold. Right. So he's just showing us the process of how this works. So now he's putting in the mercury.